Hello, everyone. We're back with the live interviews, and now, next up, we've got Lloyd Roden.
Hi.
Lloyd's from the UK, so he's come across the pond and does so frequently to share some of his great ideas about test management and some of the, I think, big challenges in testing. So you've had a keynote.
I have.
Yeah?
Yes.
And so the folks out there in the virtual world have been seeing the keynotes. The keynotes have been streaming. So we're kind of extending some of those things. But because they're not here, they can't have a chat with you off to the side, or kind of drill into some of those things. But where I kind of want to start is sharing with the virtual audience how you got into testing. Because I don't know that story myself, so I'm interested as well.
Sure, Dawn. It started 30 years ago. I was 2 years old. If you believe that, you believe anything. 30 years ago, I came out of university having studied computer science, and I got my first job as a developer. And I developed in COBOL, Pascal, PL1, most of the third generation languages. And after working through the ranks of development, after 5 years, I realized I hated it. And
just not for you.
It wasn't for me. I was a very bad developer. In fact, people just said I put more bugs in than I actually coded. So I decided that wasn't a career for me. And at the time, testing was just being given an air.
Like a name.
Airing. Yeah.
Like before that, it was just a task. We had to test, and that was everybody's job.
Yeah, or nobody's job. That's right. As a developer, we just developed a little bit and put it into production and just hope for the best, So 25 years ago I moved into software testing. I moved through the ranks of analyst, test analyst, senior test analyst, then into test management. I worked for insurance companies, finance companies, and then software house for 11 years. And was a test manager there for 11 years. So after which I joined a company called Growth Consultants as a consultant partner. And that's the history now. I'm on my own. I've got my own company now, so as a consultant. So
Lloyd Roden Consultancy.
Exactly.
It might be a little hard
even
to
on
see,
my tie.
but
Even on
his
tie.
tie.
So.
This is outstanding marketing.
I know.
But that experience that you had as a test manager, and I think test management is a really challenging domain.
Yeah.
There's so much complexity. It's so rich. You have so many interactions, and it's really experience that helps you find a set of solutions that work for you, that you can bring to the table, and especially for consulting, right? You bring that, you research what's going on with the team, and you try to find the thing that's going to fit and work with them. So you coach and mentor. So with that kind of experience, what's one of the most prevalent problems you see in software development and testing that when you first started it, you had no idea how to tackle, but now you have sort of a disciplined approach to handling that?
For me, I think one of the struggles I had to start with as a test manager and test lead was estimating testing, and basically I did it all wrong to start with, and it was a learning process, and you sort of got better and better at it, but over the time more and more estimation techniques. But one of the things I found more recently, and I alluded to a little bit in the keynote, but one of the things I find that people are not doing with estimation is that there's a big difference between estimating any activity and estimating testing. And it's that with testing, you have to estimate quality. And there's a direct correlation between the effort that you estimate, whether it's 2 weeks, 5 weeks, and there's a correlation between the amount of problems you're going to experience. And if people are not estimating the quality in association with the effort and the resource, then they're missing a big chunk of the quality angle for test estimation. I think people are doing it incorrectly, and that's what I've learned.
I think it's massively hard to do. I know for me personally, estimating is a challenge.
Yeah.
I often am doing new things, and that sort of makes me question what I might know about how long it might take me to do a task.
Yeah.
And on many software development projects, we're building new things, and so we don't often have a lot of detailed information in the beginning. So it feels like we're shooting in the dark. And anytime I'm doing that, I abstain. So when I get asked for, a projection or an estimate, and somebody says, how long is it going to take for you to test what? And I'm like, what is what? Right? We don't have the information about the what yet. So I say, I don't know, but I'm pretty sure I can tell you when I'm done.
Right.
And that's just not very useful
Yeah.
To a project team. But you said an interesting thing. Estimating quality. So sometimes when I'm teaching and coaching, I talk about the notion of a quality bar, a place that you want to get to or arrive at, and how do you describe that from a product point of view or a service, whatever it is that you're delivering to a user or a customer. And if you're going, you said another term, level of effort,
Yep.
right? How much effort are you willing to expend, or do you think you're going to expend to attain that quality is kind of what you're trying to pull out?
That's right. And at the end of the day, the number isn't necessarily the be-all and end-all. It's the fact that you then start to monitor. And if you have estimated there's 5 people in your team and it's going to take 2 weeks, it's a sprint, or a 4-week sprint, and it's 5 people, and you've estimated 30 bugs, okay, just as a ballpark figure. And there are different ways you can estimate quality, statistics, or defect density, or even just a finger in the air. One of the things that you then do is you start to monitor that. So if in the first week you've found 25 bugs, then you're in trouble. And then it's the prediction element coming in, sort of trying to, in a sense, predict what the quality is going to be with statistics and trend analysis.
So you put the guidepost out there.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a bar.
And you ask yourself as soon as you can, right? Are we in trouble? Are we tracking?
Yeah.
And that helps you manage the project, which I think is the tricky bit. Sometimes I find, and tell me if you do as well, that people plan and they get attached to the plan. And even if you put a guidepost out there that if you've planned something, you think, well, we'll just stick with the plan instead of reacting to the new information that might tell us we're in trouble. So you do see that?
Yeah, absolutely.
How do you try and get people wedged out of that?
Oh, popped into my head. Maybe we should do exploratory planning. In the early explorers, when they planned, they didn't plan to the nth degree. They planned a period of time where they want to get to, the explorers, the Antarctic, and then on a daily basis, depending on what they found out, they replanned, but they still had their target. And I think some of the things we don't do in a project is that we generate a plan, it's a rigid plan, we're going to stick to the plan, regardless of taking in the environment that we're, having and using. So I think, for us, I think we need to maybe exploratory planning.
I like that.
Yeah.
Because it feels very risky not to react to what's going on. Yeah. And yet I've heard a lot of test leads and testers tell me that they're getting a lot of pressure from their management teams to stick to the plan.
Right.
Otherwise it's going to blow up, the project implementation. So how would you maybe just give them a little bit of advice in terms of reacting to that?
I think sensitively. I think you've got to have. I mean, a plan is a plan, and but it needs to be taken as a sort of a guidepost, a guidance to the nth degree. And I think taken on board. I think we should try to aim at the target that we've set before us, but if there's circumstances around us that dictate otherwise, then we should take heed. I mean, just look at the weather here. I mean, I'm a Brit, and I come to Florida. I brought my shorts, and it's tipping it down with rain. So it will be foolish of me to say, "Oh, I'll just go outside because it should be sunny." I need to take that into account, and so I stay inside. So.
absolutely
So, yeah.
love that analogy, and it's true. We've been reporting the weather live here consistently because we want to let everyone in virtual land know that they're not missing the sun.
No.
But you are missing having an extended chat with Lloyd. But I hope shared some things that were of interest to you and give you some good ideas to move forward on your projects. That's all the time we have with Lloyd. Lloyd, it was a pleasure.
Excellent.
And thank
Okay,
you very
Dawn.
much
Yep.
for joining
and
us.
Take care, and see you soon.
Goodbye,
Okay.
everyone. Thank you.